This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Let me start by thanking all of you for finding time to be with us this morning. It is no longer news that I am in the race for the PDP's ticket to contest for the office of the president. But I decided to convey in this session to let you know why am I in this race. For all that we have experienced in the last couple of years, the 2023 presidential election looms large as another watershed moment in our political history. We must all acknowledge that some things have happened in the country that in the last couple of years that no one could have imagined would have been possible in less than a decade ago. 2023, therefore, presents us with a great moment of decision, the moment to choose hope over hopelessness, the moment to choose peace and security over fear and terror, the moment to choose unity and inclusion over division and exclusion, the moment that we draw a bold line in the sands of the history and say, no more. We must, as one people, as one nation, work towards our God-assigned destiny as the greatest black nation on the face of the earth. We all have reasons to be worried about the future of this country, but this is not the time to surrender and wallow in despair. Rather, this is the moment when all patriots, all citizens of goodwill must show courage, rise above those lines of division that have kept us apart. The very important question we must ask, where do we go from here? I do not have a grass to great story to tell. Some may even consider me privileged, but I never take my privileges for granted. I learned as a young boy growing up under the watchful guidance of a father who loved this country so dearly that to whom much is given, much is expected. Therefore, I can say that even the privileges of my childhood were easily matched by a dominant culture of giving, created by a father whose politics was deeply defined by a deep concern for the people. I learned from him that life is truly worth living when it is lived in the service of something that is bigger than yourself. I decided to become a doctor because of this ingrained desire to serve others. And when in 1999, I joined as special assistant to President Olusegun Obasanjo, I became even more acutely aware of the limitless responsibilities for service through government, and of how political power in the hands of a committed, courageous leadership can solve real problems and uplift the destiny of a nation and our people. It was this same realization that motivated me to contest and win election as governor of Kwara State in 2003. Even back then, many did not give me a chance to succeed. They thought I was too young and too much of political fight to make an impact. He's a private sector. He's privileged. How will you understand the poor people in the state? How will you understand what they want? How will you know what they're going through? I believe I proved them wrong in the end. Armed with a deep passion to serve and to make a difference, I did my best to impact lives and to leave a lasting legacy. I did not solve all the problems, but in the 8 years, I left Kwara better than I met it. We were able to confront old problems with new and innovative solutions. We implemented bold education reforms that brought children back to school and improved the quality of teaching across the state. We established a state university and an international aviation college that created jobs and expand access to higher education. We rolled back malaria, we defeated polio, and we introduced the first community health insurance in the country that brought thousands of rural people under health insurance. We opened our state to commercial aviation, we built road and housing infrastructure. We ensured value for money in government expenditure, and we became the first subnational government in Nigeria to submit itself to Fitch rating, which returned with a rating of AA-. As a senator, I was able to rise above ruinous partisanship and challenge the massive scam perpetrated under the cover of fuel subsidy. As Senate President, I defended the integrity of the National Assembly. Sometimes at a great personal cost, and even in the face of daunting challenges and conspiracies, we passed important legislations to make legitimate business easier in our country. We developed a 21-point economic agenda and designed a new security architecture that, if fully implemented, will have left us in a different place in our fight against terror. We promoted youth participation in politics and passed the Not Too Young bill to run. And we lowered the barrier for young people. We did so much. In all the positions that I've had the good fortune to occupy, I have been driven by deep conviction to serve, to help, to prefer solutions, and to leave behind a legacy of courage, hard work, and an unyielding commitment to make a difference. Perhaps more importantly, I have gone into each of these positions with clearly thought out plans, working with some of the best brains around. I took time to study situations, decide on what to do, agree on the best implementation strategies. I never muddle through. On every occasion, I have had to break through the walls of doubts and cynicism from those who thought it could not be done. Those who thought that the odds were too stacked against us, we couldn't stand a chance. But each time, we were able to prove them wrong because we had the courage of conviction and we had God on our side. The stake has never been higher for our country. This is the moment we must put everything we have to save this nation. Because what we have today is not our country. This is certainly not the country of the dreams of our founding fathers and those that came after them. In our lifetime, we have seen a Nigeria where everyone, rich or poor, was guaranteed education just by merely attending a school. In our lifetime, we have witnessed a Nigeria where children will wander far away from home as long as they wanted, and they were sure to return in the evening. In our lifetime, we have witnessed in Nigeria where one could drive from Lagos in the night and arrive Maiduguri in the morning without fear or misfortune. In our lifetime, we have witnessed in Nigeria where a Fulani man will arrive Enugu as a cattle trader and end up being elected as mayor of the city. In our lifetime, we have witnessed in Nigeria where everyone was guaranteed a minimum standard of living, where the middle class thrived, where jobs were available, where crimes were punished, where the civil service were efficient, and where public utilities worked. And where Nigeria was the pride of every black man anywhere in the world. Where has this our Nigeria gone? How can we rediscover it and make it greater for our children and generations yet unborn? This is the reason I am running. I want to be president because I believe this Nigeria is still possible in our lifetime. I am aware many of you now are asking, what am I going to do differently? What am I going to say which I have not been said before? I know that even those of you listening are probably saying to yourself right now, you're saying, haven't we heard all this before? You're saying to yourself, haven't we heard all this before? Yes, you might have heard all this before. You have the right to be skeptical. Yes, you have the right to be very skeptical. But here's what will make the difference. I will do what I have always done. I will arrive in the office with a well-thought-out plan of my own. I will implement my plans with courage and conviction, and I will work every single day as it will be my last. We never lacked ideas in this country. We all seem to know what needs to be done. But what we have missed is leadership. The ability to rally everyone and everything around agreed priorities, to set measurable targets, to be uncompromising in achieving results, and not to accept no excuse for justification of failure. This critical vacuum is what I intend to fill. The leadership with a purpose is what I bring to the table. This is what will make the difference in our country. You may also ask, how long will it take to solve all these problems? I agree. These problems we face are so many, so daunting, that we might not solve all of them in the lifetime of a presidency, or even in our own lifetime. But that's not the point. The point is not whether we were able to solve all the problems, or whether I possess the magic wand to turn our country overnight into a paradise. The point is that we can be the generation that starts it all. We can be the generation, the turning point generation, in whose time everything begins to change. The generation that, despite our differences, were able to unite against poverty and hunger, because poverty and hunger spare no tribe or religion. We can be the generation that is ashamed to be labeled as a capital, poverty capital of the world, and therefore we commit ourselves to do what it takes to remove this badge of dishonor on our country. We can be the generation that is collectively embarrassed to admit that we have more children out of school than any other country in the world. And therefore, we resolve to ensuring that every Nigerian child, regardless of the circumstance of his parents, is guaranteed quality basic education. We can be the generation that commits to building a country on the principle of equal opportunity to all. A generation that gives equal chance to everyone, that is deliberate about policies that promote inclusion of women and youth, as well as people with disabilities, believing that we are only as strong as the weakest amongst us. We can be that generation that is determined to make ours the last generation in whose time people aspiring for public office will be judged based on the content of their character and their capacity, not from what part of the country they come from, what language they speak, or what God they worship. Let us be that last generation that will ask, where do you come from? But rather, what can you do? Indeed, we can be that generation that says, Enough talk, enough lamentation, enough blaming each other. This is the time for action. This is the time to fix our Nigeria, to make Nigeria work for all Nigerians. I acknowledge the great efforts of our past leaders over the years. I pay great respect to them all. I thank them for their service to this great nation. However, as long as there is a child in Nigeria that cannot read or write, then the job is not done. And it is for this one child that I will run for president, because I will ensure that the law on compulsory basic education is enforced and the quality of teaching improves in all public schools. As long as there's one old woman in this country who cannot afford her prescription drugs for diabetes or malaria because she has no insurance coverage, the job is not done. And it's for this woman that I will ensure people like her are covered and they are able to buy their own drugs and get insurance cover. We will ensure that in 2 years, we will take insurance coverage in our country from the current 7% to 50% health insurance coverage. As long as a single village or forest in this country is controlled by terrorists or bandits or any group of criminal groups, as long as any citizen is living in fear, as long as our soldiers, our security agents do not get the right training, right equipment, right incentives, the job is not done. And it is for these citizens that I want to be president, because I will do everything to protect the lives and properties of every Nigerian and everyone that lives within our country. I will ensure that all men and women in uniform are well trained, well equipped, and well paid. As long as crude oil revenue remains the mainstay of our economy, and we remain vulnerable to the volatility of the international oil market, the job is not done. And this is why I want to be president, because I raise the oil revenue to such at the same level as we're earning from oil today. As long as there are still people in this country who believe they can break the laws of Nigeria with impunity, who think that crime has no consequences, then the job is not done. And this is why I want to be president, because I will ensure strict compliance of the rule of law and guarantee consequence for crime. As long as we still import tilers, plumbers, and electricians from neighboring countries, then the job is not done. And this is why I want to be president, because I will collaborate with industries and train 1 million of our youth in technical and vocational skills each year. As long as 65 million of our citizens still live in slum conditions in our cities and urban centers, then the job is not done. And this is why I want to be president, because I will deliver 500,000 affordable housing units every year to our low-income earners and eliminate urban slums. As long as Nigeria is not the tech hub for Africa, despite our incredible talents in this area, then our job is not done. And this is why I want to be president, because I will invest massively in skills in cloud computing, data analytics, programming, and all such in-demand skills to drive innovation, competitiveness amongst our youth. As long as our huge talent of army youths do not think that the Nigerian government can support their dreams, whether in entertainment, fashion, and the job is not done. And it's for these talented Nigerians that I want to be president, because I will create the Nigeria Creative Industry Initiative to protect leadership in the African continent and position us to be global position in the area of cultural production economy. As long as our university lecturers still have reasons to embark on strike actions, as long as our universities still rank outside the top 1,000 in the world, the job is not done. And this is why I want to be president. I will ensure our universities and higher education institutions are competitive, well-funded, adopting models and approaches that will serve the most successful higher education systems in the world. As long as some of our best and brightest brains still relocate to other countries to find fulfillment, then our job is not done. And this is why I want to be president, because I will develop targeted incentives to reverse the brain drain and keep our professionals in this country. I can do it. My portfolio of experience at the executive level and at the highest legislative institution of our country makes me a unique asset in democratic leadership. Particularly at this time that calls for consensus building, cooperation, and for compromise. I know how business works. I know how government functions. And I know how the legislature operates. This diverse experience stands me out, and I'll bring the experience to bear in getting the most critical constituencies behind tough decisions that will make Nigeria survive. I will be president for all because I represent a Nigerian identity that is truly diverse. I will be the Nigerian that will be a bridge between the young and the old. I'll be the bridge between the private sector and the public sector. I'll be the bridge between Muslims and Christians. I'll be the bridge between the North and the South. Distinguished guests, distinguished delegates, join hands with me. Nigerians at large who are watching, let's all join hands with me. Let's work and let's go and fix Nigeria. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.